poor girl revealed a heartwarming secret that transformed a billionaire's son's life forever. In the struggling town of Maplewood, Sarah, 18, knew every creaky floorboard of the diner where her mom worked long shifts just to make ends meet. Each flickering fluorescent light felt like a reminder that dreams often dimmed under the weight of reality. Her father had deployed years ago, becoming a shadow in their lives, while Sarah juggled school and jobs with an unyielding spirit. Art was her sole escape, the vibrant sketches filled with colors not often seen in the gray monotony of Maplewood life. One night, in a city miles away, Alex, the 19-year-old son of a billionaire, stood in a sea of glimmering wealth at a charity gala. The chandeliers sparkled, but their brilliance suffocated him. He felt the weight of his family's expectations pressing down, a relentless pressure to step into his father's polished business shoes. Behind the smiles and lavish surroundings lingered a profound loneliness. Despite the opulence, Alex felt like a ghost among the living. Then it happened, a chance encounter at the gala. In a moment of chaos, as waitstaff rushed past and glass clinked menacingly, Alex collided with Sarah, who had accompanied her art teacher as a volunteer. The world slowed for a heartbeat as he caught a glimpse of her fierce spirit, her determination radiating like a beacon. She was more than just a girl in a small town. She embodied resilience. Days turned into weeks as Alex lost himself in the warmth of their connection. Laughter danced between them like sunlight piercing through dark clouds. Sarah shared her secret, revealing not just her art but her heart. Her talent was no mere pastime. It was her lifeline, an expression of the beauty she found woven within the struggles of her everyday life. Each stroke of her brush told a story of hope, resilience, and love. But their connection sank beneath the scrutinizing eyes of Alex's family. Murmurs of class disparity and social expectation punctured their bubble. "You must focus on your future," his parents insisted, although it felt more like a command than guidance. The word disinheritance hovered in the atmosphere like an ominous storm cloud. The tension escalated, pulling them apart just as they began to explore the depths of each other's dreams. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Sarah painted the town's beauty, Alex began to reshape his thoughts, realizing that true wealth wasn't measured by money but by experiences, by moments of joy shared with someone who understood the struggle. The community rallied around her art, igniting passions and dreams long buried beneath the surface. With each art show, Sarah's talent bloomed louder, drowning out the doubts that nipped at their heels. Yet, just as they were on the cusp of their dreams, Alex's family mounted one final assault to tear them apart. Confrontations thundered, fraught with tension and unspoken truths, forcing Alex to decide. Could he turn away from his family's legacy to embrace something more meaningful? As the storm of voices swirled around them, Sarah stood strong, an anchor amid the chaos. Faced with the question of love versus loyalty, Alex's heart raced. Could he risk everything for a connection that filled the chasms of their worlds? The choice loomed, echoing around them as both their futures hung in the balance. What would they do when the time came to choose? The air was thick with tension, the kind that made breath feel shallow and time stretch out into eternity. Alex stared at the ground, his mind racing. He could hear the muffled arguments starting again, the cracks in his family's facade widening further with each heated word. They just don't understand, he thought, frustration boiling over. How could they be so blind to the beauty Sarah had brought into his life? In a quiet corner of the party, he found refuge, hoping to gather his thoughts. As he leaned against the cool wall, memories of their laughter and light-hearted banter flooded his mind. He could almost hear Sarah's voice, teasing him about his stuffy upbringing. It struck him then that what they had was rare, like a diamond hidden among pebbles. Determined to find her amidst the chaos, Alex pushed through the crowd. He could feel his heart pounding, not just from adrenaline but from a desire to protect what they had built together. Behind all the dazzling lights and polished perfection lay a world untainted by wealth, one filled with steadfast loyalty, raw emotion, and true artistry. That was the world he wanted to step into, not the gilded cage of privilege. Finally, he spotted Sarah by the window, her eyes absorbing the city's twinkling skyline, the paintbrush still tucked behind her ear. She looked lost in thought, an artist envisioning new dreams. The moment he approached, her expression shifted. Her eyes sparkled, and for a brief second, the storm around them faded into oblivion. "Alex," she breathed, a smile breaking through the tension. "You came." But behind her smile lay a flicker of concern, a question forming in the silence. "I had to find you," he replied, his voice steady despite the chaos. "I can't let them take you away from me." She searched his face, her brow furrowing. "I don't want to be the one who brings you trouble. Maybe this is too much for you. You have a life to lead, a future that's already laid out for you." "But it's not my future, Sarah," he exclaimed, his voice genuine, almost desperate. "I want something real. That's you. It's you and your art that make me see things differently, that make me want to fight." The moment hung between them, charged with unspoken desires and fears. Sarah felt a warmth radiate from his words. But doubt clawed at her. What if he did choose her? What would that mean for his career, his family? Could love really thrive in the midst of such scrutiny? Just then, the loud clatter of glass broke their gaze. Alex's parents emerged, their expressions a mix of disbelief and disdain. "There you are, Alex," his mother called, voice dripping with undercurrent. "We need to discuss your plans for the future. This distraction is not suitable. It's time to refocus on what matters." Alex squared his shoulders, feeling the pressure of his upbringing crash down around them. "I don't care about your plans," he snapped back, surprising himself. "I want to carve my own path. And that path includes Sarah." The words hung in the air like heavy fog, weighing on both Alex and Sarah. For the first time, he stood firm, a warrior ready to defend their love against the world's expectations. Tears welled in Sarah's eyes as fear and hope mingled within her. This was a turning point, and yet, uncertainty loomed larger than ever. Could they truly fight against a tide so familiar and strong? As Alex's parents stepped closer, poised to challenge this declaration of love, Alex took Sarah's hand, their fingers interlocking like pieces of a puzzle that could not be separated. "Let us not let fear guide us anymore," he whispered, almost breathless. "Together, we can face anything." And as they united against the storm, a new journey began, one riddled with trials, but also with the promise of love and art soaring to heights neither had dreamed possible. Would they emerge from the shadows into the light? Or would the world's vision of them snuff out their flame before it could truly ignite? Alex felt the weight of his parents' gaze like a spotlight, turning his skin prickly. Their disappointment draped over him, heavy and suffocating, while Sarah's hand felt like a lifeline. "We need to go," he said, firm yet urgent, as he guided her away from the prying eyes and clamoring voices. They slipped out of the grand room, the echoes of the party fading behind them, until only the muffled sounds of laughter and chatter lingered in the air. Outside, the night was cool, the city a patchwork of glowing lights, but Alex's mind remained clouded. "I can't believe I said that," he admitted, breath ragged. "What if they—" "Don't worry about them," Sarah interjected softly, her voice a balm against his anxiety. "I don't want you to jeopardize your future just for me." "Stop," he said, holding her shoulders gently but insistently. "You are my future. I'm tired of pretending. It's exhausting trying to fit into a mold that doesn't reflect who I am." Her heart raced, uncertainty and excitement dancing within her. Never before had she seen this side of him, so resolute, so alive. "But there are consequences, Alex. Your family, they won't just let this go. They'll fight back." "Then let them," he replied, his voice steady. "They can't control my happiness anymore. It's worth fighting for." Sarah felt a flicker of warmth spreading through her chest, pushing back against the chill of fear. But still, doubt lingered like an uninvited guest. "If we go down this road, are you ready for the backlash? It could get ugly." He stepped closer. "I'm ready to take whatever comes our way, even if it means risking everything." The sincerity in his eyes sparked something inside her. It was terrifying yet thrilling. "And if it doesn't work out?" she asked, her voice dropping. Don't think like that, he urged, brushing a strand of hair from her face. His touch sent shivers racing down her spine. What we have is special. If it doesn't work out, at least we'll know we tried. But let us not give in to fear before we even begin. Sarah looked up at him, really looked, and saw not only the boy she loved but a man ready to pave his own path. Ready to forge a life filled with colors brighter than any palette. She squeezed his hand, the connection deepening as silence enveloped them, full of the weight of possibilities. As the moment hung between them, a sudden shout disrupted their bubble. Alex's father appeared at the corner of the building, his expression thunderous. "Alex!" he yelled, voice echoing off the brick facade. "This is not over." With adrenaline surging, Alex turned to Sarah. Fear and determination swirling together. "We need to move. Now." They began to walk, then run, their laughter mingling with the sound of Alex's father's angry footsteps behind them. Outside the boundaries of the party, they were just two kids in love, racing into an uncertain future. "Where do we go?" Sarah laughed, breathless, eyes sparkling. "I don't know," Alex admitted, his heart racing. "But anywhere is better than here." As they turned a corner, they stumbled upon a small art studio, its windows flickering with the warmth of light and creativity, just like Sarah. "Let us go in," Alex suggested, a smile breaking through the tension. Sarah hesitated, a mix of excitement and anxiety swirling within her. This could be a sanctuary or a trap. "What if they find us?" she whispered. He nodded towards the art inside. Colors splashed across canvases like emotions waiting to be expressed. "Let us make it a home for tonight." As they stepped inside, the door closed behind them like a seal on their world outside. Suddenly, a voice rang out from the back of the studio. "Can I help you?" They froze, the adventure blurring into uncertainty as they turned to face whoever might be waiting in the shadows. Realization gripped Sarah's heart. This unexpected meeting could change everything for both of them. "Who are you?" Alex asked, stepping protectively in front of Sarah. With her pulse racing, Sarah felt the night shift again. They had crossed yet another threshold. Would they find allies here? Or the next obstacle in their quest for love? The studio was filled with an array of color splashes of reds, blues, and yellows smeared across canvases, each depicting stories untold. The voice that had called out belonged to a middle-aged woman with a warm smile and paint-splattered overalls. Her eyes gleamed with curiosity as she stepped closer, tilting her head slightly at the two intruders. "Just artists looking for inspiration?" she asked, her tone light and inviting. Alex relaxed his stance, sensing no immediate threat. Yeah, something like that," he answered. The tension started to seep out, replaced by the sweet scent of paint and the flickering glow from the dim lights. The woman smiled wider. "Well, welcome to my little sanctuary. Lila. Feel free to explore. Just no touching the wet paintings." She chuckled softly, and the sound was like music, easing the weight Alex and Sarah carried. Sarah felt her heart slow down, the warmth of the studio wrapping around her like a comforting blanket. This place felt different, alive and vibrant, brimming with creativity. "It's beautiful in here," she said, stepping further into the room, the colors dancing in front of her like a kaleidoscope. "Did you create all of this?" "Most of it," Lila replied, pride shining in her eyes. "Art has a way of telling our stories. We just need to give it a voice." While Lila moved around the room, Sarah caught Alex's eye. The way he looked at the canvas, as if it held answers to questions he had never dared to ask, struck her deeply. She wanted to remember this moment, the refuge, the willingness to express. "Why do you paint?" Alex asked Lila, curiosity igniting like sparks in the air. "Oh, I paint to feel free," she said, her voice thoughtful. "To channel everything that fills my heart, the joy, the sorrow. It reminds me we all have something within us worth sharing, even if it's messy." Her words hung in the air, and for a fleeting moment, Sarah felt inspired. "You should paint something," Alex urged, turning to Sarah. "You've got so much to say." "What? Me?" she stammered. "Why not?" He pressed, his eyes alight with excitement. "You're the one with the real story, the raw, beautiful kind." The compliment sent a flush of warmth through her. Could she really? The thought of expressing herself through art stirred something deep within. Drawing a breath, She felt her fingers itch to grip a brush, to let the colors whirl and flow from her heart. Okay, I'll try. With an encouraging nod from Alex and a wink from Lila, Sarah ventured toward an easel, picking up a brush. The first stroke felt tentative, uncertain, but within moments, she became lost in the colors. Her worries began to peel away like layers of an onion. Alex watched her, heart swelling with pride. Here was Sarah letting go. He was still in awe of how her passion for art transformed the moment. With her brush gliding across the canvas, she painted not just colors, but her very essence. Before long, laughter erupted from the back of the studio. A group of younger artists entered, their enthusiasm palpable. They filled the space with energy, diving into discussions about canvases and colors, a shared language of creativity that sparked even more inspiration. Looks like you've got yourself a crowd, my friends, Lila called out, her smile widening as she observed the scene unfold. The sound of her voice pulled Alex back to reality, the weight of the outside world slipping further away. But as excitement filled the air, uncertainty lurked in his mind. Sarah, he said softly, as the laughter swirled around them. What if they get involved? What if this attention becomes too overwhelming? Her head snapped towards him, a bit of paint smudging onto her cheek. I don't know, Alex. But maybe it won't be as bad as you think. Maybe this, she gestured to the lively chatter, could lead to a new community for both of us. He opened his mouth to respond, but the door creaked suddenly, pulling their focus. The atmosphere shifted, tension coursing through their bodies once again. A figure stood silhouetted against the light, tall and looming, blocking their escape just as Alex's father had done. Alex! The voice boomed, cutting through the vibrant energy. We need to talk now. An icy chill gripped Alex's heart. He had hoped to leave the storm behind. Now it loomed just outside the threshold. With the future uncertain and hope tinged with unease, Alex and Sarah exchanged desperate glances. Would they find the courage to confront their fears together? Or would the outside world crash into their newfound sanctuary? The laughter faded as the heavy voice lingered in the air, a stark reminder of the world outside this vivid sanctuary. Sarah's heart raced, and she could feel the blood drain from Alex's face. He had hoped for an escape, a momentary break from everything that weighed on him. Now it was back to reality. Alex, maybe we should just go? Sarah suggested, her voice barely above a whisper. She didn't want to leave this place, not when she had finally begun to uncover her voice through paint. But before he could answer, Alex's father stepped inside fully, the light behind casting a long shadow that loomed ominously over everything. I've been looking everywhere for you, his father said, taking a step forward, his gaze fixed dead on Alex. Dad, Alex began, but the words caught in his throat. Every part of him wanted to push back, to stand up for what he felt inside, but the silence in the studio stifled his courage. Save it, his father interrupted, waving a dismissive hand. We have bigger issues to discuss, like your future. Your mother is worried sick. The tension wrapped around them like a tight cocoon, squeezing at Alex's chest. As Alex's father began to pace, Sarah felt a rush of protectiveness bubble up inside her. She turned to Lila, who approached them with a concerned, yet encouraging look. Sometimes it's hardest to hear what we need to, especially from those we love, she whispered, as if sensing Sarah's growing anxiety. Maybe he needs to tell his dad what he really wants, Sarah said, her resolve tightening. It was easier to think about Alex's struggles than to dwell on her own insecurities. Alex, you have to stand firm, Lila added softly, the warmth in her voice standing in stark contrast to the icy breath of Alex's father. Don't let anyone take your dreams away. The urge to flee surged through Sarah, but she held her ground, hoping that somehow her presence would be enough to encourage Alex. He had to see that this space, this art meant more than anything else, especially to him. Dad, I want to. Alex stumbled over his words, frustration etched all over his features. The roaring laughter of the younger artists faded to a whisper, and the lively moment dwindled into an uncomfortable silence. What you want is irrelevant. It's time to take responsibility. His father's voice boomed, echoing through the studio like thunder. The hurt flashed in Alex's eyes. That cracked the dam, didn't it? He stepped closer to his father, fists clenched at his sides. No, it's time for me to think for myself. I want to create. To find my own path. Each word felt like a rebellion, like a rush of wind against a thunderstorm. And what exactly does that mean, Alex? Being an artist? Wasting your talent? The desperation in Alex's father's voice twisted in Sarah's heart. Did he not understand? Alex looked downcast, as if crushed by the weight of his father's expectations. In that moment, something awakened in Sarah's chest. She took a step forward. It's not a waste. It's who he is, she said, her voice growing steadier, more confident. Art is a language. It bridges feelings and experiences. We all carry something heavy within us, and creativity helps lift some of that weight. The room fell silent, the residual energy pressing against the walls, holding its breath. Alex's father blinked, taken aback by her words, by the unexpected chorus. As the reality of what they were claiming sank in, Sarah could feel the collective hold of the onlookers tighten around them. The young artists exchanged glances, sensing the shift, a new solidarity forming, one that carried hope. Maybe you should listen, Lila said softly to Alex's father, her gentle voice cutting through the tension. Everyone deserves the chance to pursue their passion. Alex's body tensed, and for a moment, the space hung between them like an unspoken promise. Would his father accept this part of him? Could he let down his guard and find a way through this storm? As Alex opened his mouth to speak, his heart pounded harder than ever. Would this be the moment that defined him? Would he stand and fight for the life he wanted, or would he be swept away once again? As Sarah's eyes met his, filled with encouragement and belief, Alex felt a surge of determination. He could no longer hide. It was time to find his voice, flooded not just with colors, but with a newfound strength that had blossomed here. With breaths held and hearts racing, they all waited to see what Alex would decide. Would he shatter the chains holding him back? But just as he took a deep breath, ready to pour his heart out, a loud crash echoed from the back of the studio, stirring everyone into chaos. He turned, his words forgotten, the very moment of truth suddenly lost amidst the uncertainty. The sound of shattering glass sent a jolt through the studio, breaking the fragile tension that had settled like fog around them. Alex's heart raced, not just from the crash, but from the sudden alarm that gripped everyone present. Their focus shifted from the intensity of the confrontation to the unexpected chaos at the back of the room. Sarah turned sharply, searching for the source of the disturbance. Wasn't it just like the universe to throw a wrench in such a pivotal moment? The vibrant canvases that had just moments ago brought them together now seemed muted against the urgency of the situation. Everyone stay calm. Lila's voice rang out, a beacon of control amidst the swirling panic. The young artists quickly scrambled toward the sound, and for a moment, Alex hesitated. Would he worry about someone potentially hurt, or confront the swirling emotions inside him? He felt the weight of his father's gaze shift, still fiery and critical, but now laced with a hint of concern. Let us check it out, Sarah said, taking Alex's hand. Her grip was firm, yet reassuring. It grounded him, anchoring him just as the storm in his chest began to recede. They shoved through the crowd, anxious yet curious about what they'd find. As they rounded the corner, they saw a canvas had toppled. It lay in shards, broken glass strewn like scattered thoughts across the wooden floor. In the midst of it all was a girl, not much older than Alex, brushing fragments away from her arms with a sheepish expression. Her messy hair was pulled back into a bun, and her paint-smudged clothes still managed to give off an air of effortless creativity. I'm so sorry. I got a bit too excited with my brushwork, and she stammered, her cheeks flushing a bright shade of red. In her eyes, Alex saw both embarrassment and determination flickering, making her look remarkably human amidst the chaos. Are you hurt? Lila moved closer, concern wrapping around her words. The girl shook her head, relief washing over her face. Just my pride, she replied with a small, self-deprecating laugh, the tension in the air dissipating just a little. As the artists began helping her to clean up, Alex found himself drawn closer to this unexpected exchange. Not just because of the mayhem, but because her spirit resonated with what he had started to realize. She had just faced a mishap, but somehow found the courage to stand and laugh. Would he be able to do the same? Look, you can always make another one, Alex said, finding his own voice amid the blurred sounds of conversation. That's the beauty of art. It's never finished. The girl's eyes brightened, and for the first time, Alex saw a spark that felt familiar. You really think so? The hushed silence around them created a rare moment of connection. Yeah, I do. It's all about the journey, right? As they shared a smile, something clicked inside him. Perhaps this wasn't just about rebellion. It was also about vulnerability. Could he be as brave as this girl? Alex turned back to his father, who stood there with a complex expression on his face, caught between disbelief and a newfound openness. The essence of the conversation, now ignited by this girl's blunder, created an unexpected bridge. Maybe the realization that creativity and mistakes often coexist could help steer this moment toward a softer truth. But before he could gather his thoughts, a loud shout erupted from the front of the studio. Everyone, get ready for the reveal. Curiosity sparked again, and all eyes turned. What could this reveal mean for them, especially for Alex? His heart pounded with uncertainty and exhilaration. Would he seize the moment, or would life plunge back into chaos? Standing at the edge of two worlds, he felt the weight of his father's expectations pressing down on him once more, alongside a flicker of hope that maybe, just maybe, everything was about to change. The anticipation hung in the air, thick and electric as the shout rolled through the studio like thunder. Alex could feel every heartbeat around him as the crowd whispered, excitement and curiosity swelling like a rising tide. Everyone was drawn to the front, waiting for the reveal. Come on. Sarah pulled at him gently, her voice bubbling with energy. We can't miss this. He followed her, still caught in a whirlwind of thoughts. The moment they had shared with the girl lingered. Her bravery had sparked something inside him. He was tired of living in his father's shadow, tired of adhering to the rigid rules that had dictated the rhythm of his life. As they reached the front, he found a spot to stand, Sarah beside him, her eyes lighting up with enthusiasm. Lila stepped onto a small platform, her presence commanding silence. Welcome, everyone. Today we unveil the culmination of all your hard work. A collection that speaks to the heart of creativity. The murmurs erupted again, but Alex felt distant from them. His mind was still with the girl, her sparkling eyes, and the way she had laughed at her mistake, her courage filling the room with color. Lila gestured to the covered canvas behind her. Let us begin. With a swift motion, she pulled away the cloth, revealing a breathtaking mural that seemed alive, bursting with vivid colors and intricate patterns. It was a vibrant tapestry of emotions, a reflection of the struggles, triumphs, and dreams of every artist present. The crowd gasped. Alex's heart raced. It was beautiful, heartfelt in a way he had never encountered before. But when he looked closer, he realized that there was something about this mural that made the air around him shift. It wasn't just the colors. It was the message woven into every stroke, every corner filled with homage to the journey rather than the destination. Look, Sarah nudged him. Each of these contributions is so unique. His gaze flitted to the mural's center, where a small image stood out distinctly among the whirl of colors. The girl, the one who had dropped her canvas. Her confident smile was depicted there, bright and captivating. She had transformed her mishap into part of something grander. Alex's stomach twisted. How could one moment of vulnerability turn into such powerful expression? Anger twisted inside him. It was the same anger that came from feeling trapped. But this time, it mixed with something else, a desire to create rather than destroy. To break free instead of cower under expectations. As the applause surged, he felt his father's approving gaze land on him for the first time. Did his father recognize the breakthrough happening around them, or within him? Beautiful, isn't it? The girl stood beside him now, color smeared on her clothes, beaming, with a sparkle in her eyes that matched the mural. Yeah, it is, Alex replied, his voice barely above a whisper. This moment reminded him of possibility, of transformation. Maybe she was right. Maybe everything that had happened, the shattering glass and the unveiling art, was just part of a greater canvas yet to be painted. Are you ready for your next challenge? Sarah asked, nudging him again, mischief dancing in her eyes. What do you mean? This mural isn't just about what has been created. It's about who we are going to be next. Let us create something together. As they stepped back to admire the mural once more, A spark ignited within his chest. Maybe this art wasn't just colored paint on canvas. It was a rallying cry for creativity, for authenticity, for the chance to be seen despite the chaos. But just as excitement washed over him, another shout erupted from the event organizer. And don't forget the competition. Winners will be revealed shortly, so bring your courage and your heart. His heart hammered. Competition meant exposure. Would he be ready to step up and truly embrace who he was? Or would he retreat back to the shadows? The weight of choices loomed before him. A chance for growth and transformation, laid out like an unpainted canvas just waiting for a brushstroke. Would he take that leap? As he exchanged glances with the girl, he could almost hear the echoes of the mural whisper to him, urging him toward a truth he could no longer ignore. The vibrations of excitement pulsed through Alex as he stood at the edge of the crowd, the mural still burning bright in his mind. Sarah's glee crashed over him like waves in the ocean, invigorating but overwhelming. "Let us do this," she urged, grabbing his arm with enthusiasm that was both comforting and terrifying. He turned to the girl, her laugh still echoing in his ears. "What's your name?" he asked, hoping for a connection that could anchor him amid the whirlwind of emotions. "Jess," she replied, wiping a streak of paint from her forehead, leaving a smudge that made her smile even wider. "And you?" "Alex." Just saying his name felt like a small victory, a way to stand up and be seen, no longer shrouded in someone else's expectations. "Nice to meet you. Are you excited about the competition?" Jess beamed, her enthusiasm magnetic. The uncertainty washed over him again. "Honestly, I'm scared. I've never really showcased anything before." "Neither have I," Jess admitted, crossing her arms as if to stabilize herself. "But that's what makes it exciting, right? We only fail if we don't try." There was a fierce sincerity in her voice that resonated deeply within Alex. He watched as she turned back toward the mural, her eyes alive with inspiration. Every corner of the canvas reflected not just struggles, but resilience. It urged him onward, nudging him to confront his own demons. "You're right," he finally said, finding his voice. "Maybe it's time for both of us to let go of our fears and make something real." Sarah clapped her hands, cutting through the moment. "Then let us not waste time. We need to brainstorm. What do you have in mind?" As they began to sketch out ideas, Alex started to see glimmers of what could be a collaborative piece that spoke not just of individual journeys, but of shared experiences. Each brushstroke could blend their lives into something meaningful. They gathered supplies, voices filling the air with plans, laughter bouncing as their anxieties slowly faded into excitement. The studio felt electric again, and Alex could feel the warmth of connection growing. The weight of competition started to feel lighter, transformed from pressure to opportunity. Then, as everything began to come together, silence fell over the room. Heads turned toward the back where Lila stood, microphone in hand. "It's time to announce the winners of the previous competition." Jess's grip tightened on Alex's arm. "What if we don't win? Does it matter?" he asked, his heart racing for a different reason now. "We're making something, Jess. That's what counts." She met his gaze, her eyes filled with determination. "You're right. Let us just enjoy the process." Lila's voice rang out again, the tension palpable. "And the winner is the duo who overcame adversity in astonishing ways." The words wrapped around Alex's heart, prompting a sudden, unexpected thrill. "Wait, what?" He leaned closer to Sarah, confusion flashing on his face. But before Lila could reveal the names, a familiar face appeared from the crowd. Alex's heart sank as his father approached, his expression unreadable. The eyes that had once felt approving now seemed to scrutinize every move. "Why are you here?" Alex muttered, his composure dwindling under the weight of expectations he thought he'd temporarily escaped. "Because this is important, son," his father's voice cut through the noise, commanding and direct. "You need to show the world who you are." Caught between the competition's anticipation and the fear of his father's disappointment, Alex's heart raced. Could he really break free? With determination sparking bright, he faced the crowd and Jess, who stood strong next to him. The mural behind them pulsed with potential. Emotions collided as Lila drew closer to the announcement. Would he step forward, proudly embracing the artist within? Or would he retreat back to the shadows, held captive by a past he desperately wanted to shed? This moment could change everything, but would he be brave enough to claim it? The tension thickened, wrapping around Alex like a heavy blanket. Each beat of his heart echoed in his ears, a constant reminder of the choice that loomed ahead. Jess, still gripping his arm, seemed to sense the storm brewing within him. Her eyes flickered with something unreadable. Perhaps it was fear, maybe it was an understanding born from shared uncertainty. Lila lifted the microphone, adjusting it slightly like a conductor preparing for an orchestra to play. As people whispered and shifted, the murmurs felt suffocating. They mixed with Alex's escalating anxiety. Just when he thought he might lose his nerve, Jess leaned closer, whispering, "You can do this, Alex. Just be yourself." Those words cut through the noise. He swallowed hard but found some measure of clarity within Jess's encouragement. The mural behind them was not merely a canvas anymore, it represented hope, possibility, and the courage to share their stories. Alex's gaze drifted from the growing crowd to Lila, who seemed poised and confident, the picture of authority. "And the winners are," Lila continued, the suspense palpable. Alex could see his father trapped in the crowd, arms crossed, a powerful figure yet somehow diminished in the context of this moment. He wanted so badly to ignore the weight of expectation he felt coming from that familiar face. Was it too late to turn it all around, to step away from his father's shadow? The competition's true value hit him hard, like a flash of lightning illuminating the dark. It wasn't about winning or losing. It mattered more that he was standing here, daring to embrace the parts of him he had hidden for far too long. And the duo who overcame adversity in astonishing ways. Lila paused, and Alex's breath hitched in his throat. Just then something shifted inside him. A deep breath brought clarity. Wasn't it better to create art that was raw, authentic? He looked at Jess, seeing the same flicker of possibility in her eyes. "Alex," Sarah's voice broke through his thoughts. "Just be true to what you want to create." Her reassurance brought a warmth he needed. He was surrounded by people who believed in him, even when he sometimes didn't believe in himself. "Maybe not winning isn't losing," he murmured, more to himself than anyone else. He stepped forward, heart pounding, ready to let the world see what he had to offer with Jess by his side. Just then a realization sparked. What if we told our stories through this piece? The struggles, the victories, everything. Jess's expression lit up, and she nodded eagerly. "Yes. That's perfect. We can inspire others together." Suddenly, Lila's voice broke the air again. "The winners are Jess and Alex." Chaos erupted. Cheers filled the space as Alex felt his heart lift. Shock washed over him, disbelief mingled with joy. He shared a quick smile with Jess, who was practically bouncing with excitement. They didn't just when they began to step into the light as artists and friends. But amid the celebration, Alex felt his father's eyes bore into him. The approval he had long desired was still absent, replaced by something different: confusion. A knot formed in Alex's stomach. He had taken a leap forward, but would it be enough to earn his father's respect? As applause thundered around them, Alex faced Jess, who was hugging her knees to her chest, radiating warmth. "What now?" she asked, breathless. "I guess we paint our truths," he replied, knowing the greatest challenge was yet to come. A wave of exhilaration washed over him, mixed with a fresh layer of worry. Could he reveal the depths of his own journey without losing those watching? Could he create something beautiful from pain without the risk of disappointment? In that moment, standing on the edge of creative freedom, he realized he was at a crossroads. Would he forge ahead into the unknown or retreat? The mural still awaited him, a blank canvas in dire need of stories that mattered. The stakes were higher now, but so were the rewards. Could he truly embrace the artist within, and allow the world to see it? Only one way to find out. In the heart of that vibrant studio, where laughter echoed and paint splattered like confetti, Alex stood at the edge of a world bursting with possibility. Heart racing, he glanced around at the faces surrounding him: the young artists, Sarah, Jess, and Lila. Each one radiated encouragement, their excitement a warm wave inviting him to step into the light, to claim his narrative. "When do we start?" The words escaped Alex, a mixture of eagerness and trepidation. Suddenly, everything clicked into place. It wasn't just about winning a competition, this was his awakening. Each brushstroke held potential, a chance to weave together the stories of struggle and triumph that had shaped him. "Let us create a mural," Jess exclaimed, her eyes wide with passion. "Something that showcases our journey, the things that we've learned from each other." The idea resonated with Alex. Together, they could transform the empty canvas before them into a tapestry of color and emotion, a true reflection of who they were. As they pooled their ideas, Sarah chimed in, "We can add elements of each of your stories, your backgrounds, your dreams. It'll be powerful." There was a warmth in her eyes, an unwavering belief that fueled Alex's courage to share everything. With brushes in hand, they began. The first strokes were tentative, but as they faced the canvas, it felt like stepping into an exhilarating dance. They exchanged laughter, recounting memories amid the vibrant colors swirling around them. Jess's stories of how art had been her escape merged with Alex's tales of learning resilience against a backdrop of privilege. In that fluid exchange of paint and narrative, they found common ground, the chaotic beauty of life. Suddenly, from the back of the studio, a harsh cough broke through the harmonious atmosphere. It was his father. At that moment, Alex didn't flinch. Instead, he took a breath, steady and deliberate, holding Jess's gaze for assurance. She smiled, and he felt an unspoken declaration of support between them. "It's okay," Alex acknowledged, stepping forward to meet his father's penetrating gaze. "I'm tired of hiding who I am. I found my voice." The surrounding buzz faded into silence, as people turned to witness the unfolding confrontation. Lila, standing proudly to the side, shifted her weight, an ally in this pivotal moment. "I can't just follow a path laid out for me anymore," Alex continued, emboldened by the spirit of his art. "I want passion, meaning I want to create." The room held its breath, his father's expression shifting from shock to something softer, perhaps even begrudging respect. But Alex sensed the storm still brewing. In that silence, he felt the collective anticipation, the moment stretching into eternity. What would happen next? "Alex," his father finally spoke, voice low and serious, "this is what you want?" "Yes," Alex replied decisively. "I need this. Art has shown me clarity, purpose. It connects all of us." And just like that, a ripple of understanding swept through the room. The artists caught the vision. Every brushstroke carried the echo of their journeys. In that instant, something cracked, a barrier dissolving between Alex and his father. "Maybe," his dad said quietly, "I need to understand this world you're stepping into." "I can help with that," Lila interjected, her eyes shining with encouragement. "Art isn't just passion, it's a dialogue. Let us engage with it together." The energy shifted. His father nodded slowly, understanding blooming. "Show me, Alex. Show me what this means to you." It was a moment of breakthrough, one that tasted like sweet liberation. Finally, the storm inside him settled, replaced by a calm sense of purpose. With renewed vigor, Alex turned to Jess and Sarah, their eyes bright with shared visions. They worked tirelessly on the mural, painting the intricate layers of their stories, Alex's haunted shades of self-doubt, and Jess's spirited bursts of creativity, coalescing into something beautiful. As the mural came to life, crowds began to gather, drawn to its vivid transformation. Each person saw fragments of their own struggles within the colors, a testament to the resilience shared through art. "Look," Sarah exclaimed, "it's like everyone can find a piece of themselves in our work." And there it was, right before them, a snapshot of labor, laughter, and vulnerability. The product of their collaborative journey stood proud, a beacon of connection and hope for Maplewood and beyond. Lila stepped back to admire their work, her heart swelling with pride. "You've created something truly powerful," she said, knowing this was just the beginning for each of them. As the unveiling drew nearer, Alex felt a spark of anticipation. His father stood with others, witnessing this evolution, his expression shifting from skepticism to one of newfound understanding. "Today," Lila announced, "we celebrate creativity, courage, and collaboration." And as they prepared to unveil their mural, Alex glanced at Jess, Sarah, and his father, exchanging silent acknowledgments that spoke volumes. They faced the blank against the wall, a canvas filled with the story of a journey unmade. And as the cover fell away, unveiling a masterpiece of color and emotion. The crowd erupted in applause, echoing not only for the art but for the profound connection they all shared. In that climactic moment, Alex stood in his truth, no longer just the son of a billionaire, but an artist, a storyteller, accompanied by his friends, ready to step boldly into a future filled with endless possibilities. This was only the beginning of their tale, echoing loudly. Art could heal, connection could thrive, and dreams could soar high above the challenges that life threw their way. And with the world now watching, a new chapter awaited them. An open canvas, ready to be filled with the colors of their lives' passion, desperation, hope, and boundless creativity. Now don't let this moment slip away. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.